What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video where we finally get to ride the ADX 300. Yes, it has a license plate. Yes, it's registered. Yes, we have no fuel in it, so it does have 25 kilometers on the clock. I did none of those kilometers. This is my first time riding it out of the yard. So I've only ridden it around the yard. This is my first time riding it out of the yard. And it's gonna be a first impressions video. And actually, I have it for the whole weekend. Unfortunately, I don't have time to take it on any road trips. I have other appointments to do because we are 1 week away from the EICMA show that is happening in Milan, and we're gonna talk about that in a future video in a couple of days from now. Or Actually, we might have talked about this. I don't know how the scheduling is going to work just yet. I haven't made up my mind. But now, in this moment, we are on the ADX 300. And I want to make up my mind if this thing is a proper ADX or not. In terms of it being a scooter, it's on the Joyride platform, and that's a very good platform to start off. It's a very agile. The Joyride is a very agile scooter. It's very easy to handle. It carries its weight down low. It's a different frame than the SYM 300 or the JoyMax 300. So yeah. SYM has a couple of different lineups of 300s. You have the HD 300, which has its own separate frame. You have the Joyride 300 that has a cruise that has the frame, a modified frame from an HD 300 to give it the flat floor. And then you have your Cruise Sim / JoyMax 300. That's again a different style of frame. So this is basically riding on a frame that started off life as an HD 300, then it was modified and strengthened to be the Joyride, and then it was modified yet again and strengthened yet again to become the ADX 300. So in terms of frame strength, then it should be right up there with the best of them, because this is well refined and well put together by SYM. They've gone through the effort of doing a proper design on this thing, and on the back end, on the frame part, the engine part. The Joyride 300's engine is the classic 300cc engine from SYM, but with a little bit of tweaking to make it even more reliable than we're used to. So this thing should have the reliability. It definitely does have the agility for riding it around the city. The one niggle I have with it is the fact that because it's based on the Joyride platform, your feet sit up quite high. I would have liked my feet a little bit down low, but because I'm very short in the legs, I can put my feet up forward here, but I still have a sensation like I'm, I don't know, pushed forward towards the handlebar, because also the seat itself is pushing me a little bit forward. I would have liked a little bit more room to go back, but we'll see if after riding it for an hour around, if I mind that or if it's okay. I don't know. Now riding it through traffic, it's very easy to handle through traffic again. The Joyride platform is a city scooter. It's a flat floor city scooter, so it's very easy to balance. Put your legs down beneath you and you can easily balance it in between cars at very low speeds. The transmission is very nice and smooth. The engine is torquey and very linear in its power delivery. Again, 26 horsepower and 26 newton meters of torque might not be a lot compared to other 300cc offerings that get up to 28, 29, 30 horsepower, or even the Zontes that goes up to 33. The 350s go up to 37 horsepower, but the power delivery is very, very smooth. Seat height is okay. Me at 175 centimeters tall, I can easily handle it in between cars. Not really an issue. And you know, it's fitting in some quite tight spaces. There we go, up to the front. So on first impressions, as a city scooter, it gets the job done. I was able to fit all of my camera gear, my filming gear, everything under the seat. So once again, that's a very good positive. It does have room for just one helmet under the seat, but again, if you want to see my full review on it as we go around through all the details, then click up on the right hand side. There's a link to my first video on this thing where I couldn't take it out on the open road because it wasn't registered, but I could go through it with a fine-tooth comb. But now I want the riding part, and we're gonna head to the gas station to fill this thing up with fuel and see how easy it is to fuel up. It's fueling time, it's fueling time. Let's get into the fuel station and fill this thing up to the brim and see how easy it is to fill. Quickly, run to catch the bus. Throw yourselves in front of a moving scooter. Granted, they had the right of way, but, you know, give me time to notice you and put on the brakes, you know. No, the Joyride isn't a pain to fill up, so this thing shouldn't be. Although the tank is different because it's bigger. Whoa! How about I put it in properly? Alright, pump jumped. Let's brim it. I want it absolutely brimmed. Come on. Shake it around. That's it. That's as brim as it gets. Oh. 16.2 liters went in. That means this tank is over 16 liters. Oh, that's nice. I'm pretty sure it had 1 or 2 liters in it. Does this thing have... Jesus, does this thing have an 18-liter fuel tank? That would be something. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, fuel is paid, and again, 16.2 liters. This thing should have had a 16-liter fuel tank, and I know it wasn't bone dry. I hope. I'm gonna have to ask at work if they put 3 liters in or 1.5 liters in, but usually at 300cc scoots, we put 3 liters in. So 3 liters had 29 kilometers on it, so it probably used up 1 of those liters. And that would leave about 2 liters in the tank with 16 plus added. That would make it 18 and a bit liters. That's impressive, but even if they put just 1.5 liters of fuel in the tank, that would still make it about, what are you doing? A bit over 16 liters of fuel, close to 17 liters of fuel. So, yeah, as it sits, it has a big fuel tank, and it has an underreported fuel tank. I'm pretty sure it wasn't bone dry when I got to the fuel station. Anyway, let's head out a little bit out of the city. I am gonna take it on the highway a little bit. You know, riding it around the city, the suspension does seem to be soaking up bumps very well. Seriously? I was on that lane, dumbass. Jesus, fudge. Here comes another one. So, like I was saying, the suspension is soaking up the bumps, and we're gonna take a couple of manhole covers here. Now, this thing does have 20 mil of extra travel compared to the Joyride 300, and it does have a little bit of a softer suspension. It is a little bit softer sprung, so it should feel a little bit better. Maybe not as good as the ADX 400 or the ADX 125 because it doesn't have that trick geometry, but you know, it doesn't feel bad. The suspension is soaking up the bumps a lot better than my Zontas 350 is, that's for sure. Seriously, it's a Saturday. We have weekend drivers. I'm sorry, you're gonna see a lot of this. Love the dynamics of the thing. Much lighter and much chuckable than my Zontas. The Zontas does feel like a little bit of a whale, but this thing is much more nimble and agile. Granted, as we get up to a little bit of a higher speed, then wind protection is to be desired. But we'll see that when we get on the highway. I'm gonna take it on the highway a little bit and see exactly what's what when we get up to some speeds like 110, 120 kilometers an hour. But now going 80, I have a lot of wind on my chest and on my hands and on my helmet. I think you can actually quite hear it a little bit. And yeah, there's wind to here, to the middle of my chest. Only my stomach is shielded from the wind. And you do get a little bit of wind on your knees. It doesn't... Wind protection is definitely not as good as the Zontes 350E. I can compare it to the Zontes because I have such a good experience with the Zontes, and I have so much experience with the Zontes doing everything. Suspension is definitely a lot better. It's a lot nimbler. It's a lot more agile. Definitely a lot more fun around the city. But in terms of wind protection and comfort, you being able to stretch out on the thing and get comfortable, yeah, it's not as good as the 350. But then again, it's hard to be as good as the 350 because this thing ain't a beluga whale, and the 350 is a beluga whale. Oh yeah, and one more thing with these off-road style scooters, if you see this, you see that? You see? Get some proper tires. Ditch the off-road tires and get some proper tires on the thing. And also set your tire pressures properly. I'm pretty sure this thing is a little bit low on tire pressure, and that's why it's doing it so violently. But this only happens when you take your hands off the handlebar. If I just keep even this is enough to hold it. Just the slightest bit of weight on the handlebars is enough to hold it. So it's no big issue. I mean, I can ride with just one hand on the handlebar, no issue. I can brake, I can accelerate, I can do some hard braking, and it's perfectly stable. Once you leave the handlebar like this, that's when it starts doing it. So keep your hands on the handlebars, please. And if you really don't like this head shake, then get it on some proper tires. Michelin City Grip 2s, Michelin's Road 5 or 6, whatever, Pirellis, Bridgestones, I don't care. Whoever makes a decent street tire in this size, get it on that, and the head shake will go away. There's nothing you can do about the geometry of the scooter. Nothing is broken, nothing is imbalanced. It's the tires. The knobby tires will do that to a scooter. Both the ADX 125 does it. I haven't tried the ADX 400 because in Greece I didn't have time to look for this, but I'm pretty certain that thing does it as well. Maybe the trick geometry with the in-frame engine helps out a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, if you don't like it, if you don't want to live with something like that, if it scares you, because okay, you might be scared that your scooter likes to head shake, then not a problem. Get some proper tires on it. Ditch the off-road tires, and when I am rolling at this kind of speed, I can feel vibrations from the tires because I am rolling on its knobs. It's not a smooth roller. You're probably gonna get some better fuel economy. Whoa! Where those tires shine is on a surface like that with gravel, where I could put the power down together with a little bit of traction control. I could put the power down, and they offered me a lot of grip. But otherwise, if you're riding mainly on surfaces like this, on streets, on city streets, then yeah, get some proper tires on it. We are almost at the highway, and once again I have to come back to the suspension. It is soft. I'm not gonna lie, it is soft. People might compare it to the Honda ADV 350, and I have ridden the ADV 350. Trust me on this one, this thing has a lot softer suspension than that thing does. I don't know how it's gonna work on off-road because it might bottom out quickly, but we're also gonna test that out in this video after I do a bit of a highway blast. So let's get on to the highway. All right, on the highway we go. Head shake. What do we have there? A Vespa GTS 300, I think. Let's see if we can catch it up. Now this is where the ADX has to shine, and you know, the engine is good. I'm doing 120 kilometers an hour at less than 7,000 RPM. That's good. I am passing the Vespa 300. But the main issue is there is a lot of wind, a lot of wind on my hand, on my chest, on my helmet. Definitely the wind protection needs to be improved. Oddly enough, the wind on my legs is actually quite good. It's very little wind on my legs, but this windscreen ain't doing shit. I'm gonna tell you right now, this windshield ain't doing shit. So GV better start working on a bigger windscreen for this thing and a much better designed windscreen for this thing, because as it sits, the windscreen ain't doing shit, and it almost feels like you're riding a naked bike. Okay, I'm definitely not impressed with the wind protection. Granted, we are going almost 140 kilometers an hour. And you know what? Let's open the taps. How fast can it go? 144. Yeah, I think 145 is about max with my fat ass on it. You know, you should drive on the first lane. Just saying. You should drive on the first lane if you aren't fast enough for the fast lane. But oh well, Romanian drivers. But yeah, oh, we saw 150 going a little bit downhill. So in terms of stability, it's good enough. 150 kilometers an hour, no problem. It's stable. It doesn't move around on you, even on these tires. But wind protection definitely isn't the best, and definitely can be improved. Let's see some lean angle. You know, it's fun in the twisties. Damn it, I wish they would have nailed that windscreen a little bit better, because as a touring machine and taking it on some twisty roads, it's quite fun. This sitting position a little bit far forward really brings you in the middle of the scooter, and you can really easily maneuver it left to right and chuck it around, and it's quite confidence inspiring. But the wind protection just isn't there for a long distance trip. At least it's not up to my standards. And you know what? Let's have some fun. So through the city, it's quite good. On the highway, it has power, it has speed, but it just doesn't have the wind protection. But that's easily fixable with a bigger windscreen once they become available. The handguards do a good job of keeping the wind off my hands. Wind off my legs is... there was barely any wind on my legs, even though the fairing is tapered inwards and should pull the wind inside. Oh, chicken! Somehow I didn't have any wind on my... Okay, punch it! Doggos, angry doggos. Somehow I didn't have any wind on my legs, but that's a good thing. I like that. So the only problem with the wind protection is the windscreen, and that's an easily upgradable part. There will be aftermarket windshields, especially when people realize just how bad the stock windshield is and will want an aftermarket upgrade. Now, if you're riding just around the city, then this windshield is perfectly fine. But if you plan on doing long trips, then yeah, it really isn't. You need something a little bit better to be a little bit more comfortable. Now off-roading, as you can probably see, this isn't all the hardest kind of off-road, but it is decent enough. It's decently bumpy, and it's dirt, it's not gravel. It's easily controllable, and the suspension is soaking up the bumps quite well. This is fun. Oh, this is so much fun. This is, again, a place where the ADX should shine, and you can get a decent riding position, although you can't ride it all the way standing, but you can get up for like the bigger bumps and stuff. I like that. I like to see that. Oh, we are in somebody's field. Let's turn it around. Maneuverability at low speeds? Yes, it has it. There we go. Tires have a decent amount of grip on this hard-packed stuff. Where else? Where could we go? We can go here. Ups-a-daisy. Traction control interfering a little bit. You know what? Let's turn off the traction control. Oh, dust. I'm gonna have to probably wash it before I take it in on Monday back. People are probably not gonna be impressed with it full of dust, but you know, let's see. Is traction control off? Oh yeah. Let's have some fun with it. I like on the Sims how easy it is to turn off the traction control. Granted, there could have been just a button on the dashboard, but yeah, it's not that hard to navigate the menu. It's a couple of clicks and you're on your way with the traction control off. Riding standing, definitely not a good riding position, standing position, but you can quickly get up for certain bumps and then get back down on it. It's hard to control the scooter. The floorboard pushes you forward, so it's really hard to control it while standing. But you can when you see a big bump, just get your ass off the seat, like here, hop, hop, hop. Bottomed out the fork a little bit, but that was a pretty big bump. How fun is this? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Fun. The fact that it's enjoyable off-road for a scoot, it's definitely not perfect, but then again, the price isn't all that high. I mean, this thing retails now here in Romania for 5,000 euros. That's just 800 euros more than the ADX 125. Now, it's definitely not as special as the ADX 125, but come on, you have a 300cc engine. If you want a little bit more extra speed while touring and even through the city, a little bit more extra speed through the city, then yeah, the 300 is a very good option. Flies in my mouth. Where does this road lead to? Bumps, bumps, bumps. This is kind of gravelly tarmac or something. Whoa! Oh, this is the brand new highway that they're building. I see no... I'm not supposed to go down there. As you can see, it's definitely blocked off. I'm definitely not supposed to go there. So we're gonna turn back. Can you tell I'm having fun? Yes, I'm having fun. And you can get some decent speed going and still be completely in control of the machine. The tires offer a decent amount of grip. Definitely not as controllable as the ADX 400 because I did test ride that in Greece. The videos are on my channel. Definitely not as controllable on the bumpy stuff as the ADX 400, but once again, the price point is unbeatable. I mean, compared to an ADV 350 from Honda, this thing, the ADV 350 from Honda here is a little bit over 7,000 euros, and this is 5,000. So it's something like 25% cheaper, and yet it still has pretty much the same power. It has better suspension. I don't care the Honda comes on Showa suspension. You can write in the comments as much as you want that the Honda has Showa suspension. I've ridden the Honda on roads like this, and trust me, it's definitely not as comfortable as this thing on roads like this. This thing is actually quite capable of soaking up the bumps, and I love that. Is it as good as an off-road bike or an adventure bike? Definitely not. But is it doable? Yes. Can you keep a pretty brisk pace on off-road? Hell yeah. You can keep a decent pace on a surface like this with this thing. As long as the bumps don't get very big, then yeah, you can definitely keep a decent pace on this thing. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, the sitting position, I would have loved for it to be a little bit better. Am I allowed to be here? I don't know. Do I care? Probably not. I mean, I didn't pass any kind of gate. I didn't pass any kind of sign telling me not to come here. And if it's not forbidden, then that means it's allowed. Now, can we climb up that? Ups daisy, come on. Oh, like a glove, no issues whatsoever. You know, I'm impressed with this thing. I am quite impressed with this thing. You know, let's go over there. So, as I sit upon this mound of dirt, contemplating a little bit on the ADX 300, is it a true ADX or not? It's still hard to say. It's a damn good scooter. My only gripe with it is this floorboard is too high. It should have been here, not here. It should have been here. Apart from that, the engine is nice and strong. The transmission is good. The suspension is excellent for a regular style suspension for a scooter. You can actually feel the extra ride height and the lower spring rate and the extra dampening. It can handle stuff like this without any kind of issue, and much better than other scooters that are supposed to be off-road focus scooters, like the ADV 350 from Honda. I've ridden that. It has Showa suspension. It's too harsh. The suspension is just too hard. This thing, it is soft. You can bottom it out, especially the front fork. If the bump is big enough and you are heavy enough, like my fat ass is at 110 kilograms, you can bottom it out a little bit. But that's only when you are really riding it a little bit faster than a scooter ever should be ridden on a surface like this. The price is unbeatable. I mean, at 20–30% lower price than the ADV 350, while still offering just about the same level of tech. It has keyless, it has LEDs, it has a beautiful dashboard. The 7-inch tablet style display is very good, very visible even in direct sunlight. Huge underseat storage, apparently more than 16-liter fuel tank. It has everything going for it. So I guess in conclusion, it kind of is a proper ADX because it has something special in the market. Sure, it's not the best off-road unit possible. It's not the best off-road offering if you want to do some proper hard off-roading. But it comes at an unbeatable price and it offers a lot of value for money. So in that sense, maybe it's taking the ADX philosophy in a different direction, where it's kind of the off-road variant or the off-road offering of the ADX lineup for the people that everybody can afford and can justify economically. As it sits, I like it. Riding position, I'm not 100% happy with it, but it ain't that bad. I've ridden worse stuff, but It's definitely not the best. My Zontes 350 is definitely much more comfortable for a long distance road trip. Wind protection could have been a little bit better, but again, because the windshield is mounted on these brackets, hard metal brackets, then companies like GV will have no problem in making an aftermarket windshield for this thing that's a little bit higher, a little bit wider. So we should see that on the market very, very soon, in a couple of months probably, and that should fix my my wind protection gripes. So the only problem is the seating position and the leg room. But again, if you tweak the seat a little bit, you might actually get where it gets a little bit more comfortable. As it sits, I've been riding it for around about an hour now, and I'm perfectly fine. Nothing hurts. I'm not gonna say that it's a long distance tourer just yet, because for me to actually say that, I have to spend something like 5, 6, 7 hours in the saddle and cover like 400 or 500 kilometers to really give it the seal of approval. But for now, that has been it on the ADX 300. I really like it. There are a couple of things that SYM could tweak in a future version. I don't know if the seating position can be modified that easily, considering it's based on the Joyride 300 platform. And I have the same gripes with this thing as I have with the Joyride 300, so it's more of the frames problem, not the design problem. But that's about it in terms of negatives. Otherwise, only positives. And if you're interested in one, then yeah, keep it on your short list. Go do a test ride, see if you're comfortable on it, and see if you like it. And if you like it, then you can go ahead and pull the trigger on one, because in terms of reliability, SYMs are known to be pretty much bulletproof, especially this 300cc power plant from them. It's a very old engine. It's been around for about 30 years, and it's been refined time and time again to where it's gotten to the point where it's pretty much bulletproof. So yeah, that has been it on the ADX 300. Hope you enjoyed this little video. I am gonna ride it a little bit more around here and have a little bit more fun with it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until next time, take care out there everyone, and ride safe. Bye!